Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Vanguard's Breakfast at DealBook. This morning's panel will dive into mission as a multiplier. Vanguard is one of the world's leading and most respected asset management firms. Vanguard has a strong point of view and a proven history of anchoring the organization in its mission. A mission can be a basis for building trust grounded in ethics, and it's also a basis for innovation and economic growth. And in turbulent times, which I'm sure many of us would agree describes this moment, mission can be a pathfinder and a guide.
When I think about mission and purpose, it's almost like ethics statements. There's rhetoric and there's reality, and it's hard to execute on. Talk a little bit about Vanguard and how you see mission in the context of this conversation.
Yeah, so for our organization, if you think about it, we were founded 50 years ago by Jack Bogle, and Vanguard is a mutual company. So it's a mutual fund company. It's owned by the Vanguard funds, which are owned by our investors. So there's no concern about other shareholders or private owners or anything like that. It's about really to take a stand for all investors, to treat them fairly and give them the best chance for investment success. And the reality is we come to work because we want to help people save for retirement. We want to help people buy their first house. We want to help people put their kids through college. And so for our folks, that's something very motivating and purpose-driven. And so when we come together as a team, we know how to prioritize because we're focused on our clients, but our crew just love the impact that they have on people's financial lives. And it's something that truly drives the culture of the firm. It's about doing good for people.
Since you're new to Nike, I would love to hear your thoughts on mission. How do you think about making it something that is really true to the business core?
Nike's mission today is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete around the world. Asterisks on athlete, because I'll put myself in this category. I don't see myself as an athlete.
You're a runner.
But if I have a body, I am an athlete. And every single day we've got a company thinking about new ways that you can put something on your body and make you better. And that's like, people can see that and they can believe in that.
Simon, I want to go to you. What are you seeing in terms of maybe the disconnect between what you say and what you do when you're looking at companies and you're talking about the why?
So here's the good news. When I started talking about this stuff 15 years ago or so, if you use the words purpose and work in the same sentence, that was like some hippy-dippy stuff. You couldn't do it. And now talking about purpose at work in serious environments, it's a perfectly normal conversation. So that's a good thing. And you made a comment which I found sort of interesting, which is when you were describing how great Vanguard is, you said, we don't have to bow to the pressures of internal or external investors, the private investors or the public investors, as if we all take it for granted, like, oh, that's a terrible thing, right? But we do. Like, that is sort of an understood thing that investor pressures, whether it's venture capital or the public markets, do put tremendous pressure on companies to make the wrong decisions for the long-term value of the company. We need more leaders who are willing to actually make decisions for the long-term value of their employees and their customers.
I want to talk a little bit about AI because I think it's an important question we all have to deal with. There's pressure to reduce costs. There's the opportunity to accelerate, innovation, and yet there's going to be disruptions, and it's not something that is easy to sort of be good for all people in this situation.
Obviously, AI is the conversation at every conference, but to balance that off is also the conversation about humanity. And not just our jobs and the preservation of jobs and not just that, but what is it about our humanity and how does it show up at work? And so this conversation of purpose at work and mission at work, I think, is the more human side, which is what is it that connects people that want to come to work and give their best and brightest ideas on a daily basis.
For us, we've always been in a place where every year we're trying to raise the bar to try to get better. And you want to make sure you're leveraging all the tools that are available to you. And it's not just to use the tools, it's because we want to provide better service and better outcomes to our clients. That's the humanity. It goes back to what Simon was saying. Like when you work at an organization that you believe very strongly about what the organization is doing and is doing something good for society, It's a very, very powerful formula for success.
Talk a little bit about what this means to you and what's your own purpose and mission, because that evolves as well. Give me a sense as to what drives you and gets Greg Davis up in the morning.
Yeah, I would say, look, I come from a military family, first generation college graduate, right? So I never expected to be in these types of conversations anywhere along the way. But one of the things that has really helped me over the years is people believed in me and they invested in me. And what I've always tried to do career-wise was to pay that forward. So my proudest moments at work and what I do is when I look at people that I've had an impact on their careers, get promoted, take on bigger seats. And that brings me great joy because I received the same type of impact when I joined Vanguard, and I've been trying to do nothing but pay that forward when I think about the crew that work at Vanguard and the people that I have some impact on.
Yeah. What motivates you? What's driving you now, and where do you think of mission at the intersection of your own leadership?
It's a great question. I was thinking I didn't realize you were doing life reflections on Wednesday morning, but this is awesome.
We'll move back to Washington.
Do you guys have like 20 minutes? Can we just unpack this together?
It's good for people to know who's up here.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm
guy?
honored. I think the honest answer is it changes. I mean, my head goes to my children, my head goes to my family. But when I think about what I do for work and why I'm privileged to do this job, I do believe that companies with scale have a great ability and a great responsibility to have positive outcomes in communities across the globe. I lived in rural Kenya, and when you have access to footwear there, it means you're able to go to school. When you're able to go to school in that environment, your chances of so much more go up significantly. So Nike definitely resonates with me in that pursuit.
Simon, how are you? I almost want to put you not in a soothsayer role, but an advice role. When you think about both the two brands that we have up here represented and your advice to leaders right now as they're dealing with pressures on many different sides, where mission fits and how even executing on that mission may shift.
Neither Greg nor Michael are talking about, how they wake up every single day to look at the spreadsheet of how the company's doing, and that's what gives them life. What you're listening to are stories of leadership. You're talking about the greatest fulfillment they get is being able to foster the success in the lives of other people in their care. And to talk about culture or purpose without talking about leadership is blind. Cultures don't happen by default. They happen by design, the good ones. And it is entirely driven by good leadership.
Some final thoughts in terms of your own call to action here.
When I get back to the mission, which is to provide inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world, that means there's a lot more people that haven't had the experience that makes them want to go do something differently with their day.
Yeah.
But there's so much potential in executing that mission. And I think when we talk about the importance of mission, it's having one that is authentic enough, having actions that are authentic enough, where you can say it in beautiful places like this, and you can say it in the break room in your manufacturing facility. And I've carried that message with me for over a decade now, and I think about it a lot.
So I imagine a world in which the vast majority of people wake up every single morning inspired. They feel safe wherever they are, and they end the day fulfilled by the work that they do. And I've committed myself that every product I make, every book I write, everything that I do will help advance closer and closer towards that ideal. And it is an ideal. I'll never get there, but I'll die trying, which is the point of mission. You'll never get there, but you'll die trying. And I think every single one of us has the opportunity to wake up every single day and be the leader we wish we had.
Last word goes to you, Greg.
Yeah, I would just say, again, it goes back to what we do every single day, trying to provide really strong and positive financial futures for our clients. Again, whether or not it's saving for retirement, putting their kids through college, it has such a huge impact on society and people's well-being. It's one of the key things that people need is financial security, and we're very proud of being a key contributor to that for 50 million investors, and something that all of us at Vanguard are really proud about.
Great, I love that. Thank you for the honor of speaking with you. Enjoy your day at DealBook. Thanks again.